Helps to start the video recorder. Carnage heavy track does not exist anymore. So that's what I'm doing now. Mashups and bang up, but we're gonna give it a try. He was a good driver, he was pretty quick. Rhythm and flow to it. Ooh, Wall of Champions, just not pleasant in that regard. Nervous moments. That was lucky, I think. Drop several $100s. Oh dear, here we go. Bathroom scales. You hate to see it. Really unfortunate for us. Oh, so much for our safety rating. I don't know where we are now. Oh, there he goes. I have to be happy with it. DIY wooden stand that I made out of pine. Brake mod. Ooh, zoink. Alright, here we are. We are on our warm-up lap here at Oran Park. This track does not exist anymore. It was near Sydney, sort of like a suburb of Sydney, and in 2010 it was demolished to make room for housing. So it used to host the Australian domestic series. As far as I know, it didn't host anything that was sort of internationally renowned. It didn't host any like international type series, but it's a pretty cool track. Anyway, the makers of iRacing decided to immortalize it in the game or in the sim so that we would have a chance to drive it even after it ceased to exist. So that's what I'm doing now. Alright, here we go. Heading into our first qualifying lap here. I've had a tricky time getting pretty competitive lap times here on this track, so we'll see how this goes. It's just things like that, just missing apexes and not quite figuring out the line everywhere, but we're going to give it a try. It's also a very carnage heavy track. I've had a few races kind of ruined by first lap mashups and bang ups. Yesterday I had a race where I finished third, but I was leading and the guy in second just went in a little too hot. I mean, he apologized, it was cool, but he went in a little bit hot and took me out in this section. He just couldn't quite get slowed down for the corner. And he was a good driver. He was pretty quick, but I ended up in third and he ended up winning, and that was one of my better races at this track, so let's not be surprised if I end up in like 8th or something. But as frustrating as the racing has been this week on this course, it's quite fun. Just it kind of has this real rhythm and flow to it that I really enjoy. You can see it's quite hilly, it's quite up and down, lots of elevation change. And a nice light car like the MX-5, it handles it pretty well. Ooh, Wall of Champions. Alright, there we go, qualifying done. 16.9 is not bad for me. Let's see how it compares to everyone else. Right now, second, but a lot of people still have to finish their laps, so not bad at the moment. But it might end up being a pretty tight race, a pretty close race. So we'll hop onto the grid, get ourselves ready here, see how it goes. So at this point, it looks like 5th place is what I shoot for. So that'll be our goal again today. My other goal for today is to not get a bunch of incident points, because this track has been just not pleasant in that regard. Helps to start the video recorder. I do not know why I always forget to start the video. Alright, looks like the grid is set. We've got red lights. And we're away.
Great job, 10 to go.
Alright, 10 to go. We'll see how the first corner goes here. Nervous moments. He's trying to squeeze me down here.
Right side.
Brake a little bit. Let's make sure we don't have an incident here.
Right side.
Give him plenty of room.
Keep to the left. Keep to the left. Clear. Car right. Stay on the left. Clear. Right side.
I don't know if he's there or not. Feels good to get through the first few corners. Tire's a little bit cold. Oh, okay. That was lucky. Feel bad for him. He just overdid it a little bit.
Unlucky, bud.
Alright, try and settle into a rhythm here in a bit. Not braking quite early enough there. Just understeering through there. I just am not getting around that corner and getting a good exit down into the straight. And that, of course, is the most important corner onto the longest straight. Really the only straight. So I didn't get to record a race last week. Actually didn't get a lot of racing in last week. We were traveling a bit and I did some practice on the track. I did one race and I thought I would get a race in after we got home, but it ended up switching tracks, and so I didn't get a chance to record a race on the Charlotte Roval. So that was a track that was I felt like very technical, a lot of kind of tricky chicanes with big curves on the inside, a lot of walls very close to the track. Almost in some spots drove like a street circuit. You know, as with most tracks, I was continuing to improve and getting better, but I just didn't get a chance to record anything. Alright, better exit onto the straightaway that time, I think. Oh dear, here we go. You hate to see it. Oh, there he goes. Alright, that allowed the car behind to catch up pretty significantly there. Really unfortunate for us, but we're still in it. He wants to come through, and he's going to have a bit of a tow, so we got to be really careful going into this corner down at the end of this straight, because I think he's within my slipstream here. Hopefully I got a good enough exit. Oh, he hit me for no reason. Okay. That's alright.
That was a punt and a half, bud.
Slow down. You got a penalty for cutting the cord. Car on your left.
How bad are we broken?
Clear. Left side. Still there, hold your line. Clear on the left. Left side. Stay on the right. Still there. Still there, hold your line. Clear on the left.
Alright, I need to see how much time I'm losing on the straightaway here. Doesn't look terrible.
Left side. Clear.
Okay, I thought he was going to go for that, so I left him more room than I probably should have. Well, so much for our safety rating. I don't know where we are now. I think I'm 5th, or maybe I'm 4th now. We get settled back in here. So it's going to be hard to be happy with that when I was leading, but it is what I said I wanted to do, right? Top 5? So even if this is where we finish, I have to be happy with it. Alright, so in the last couple weeks we made a couple of rig upgrades. One of them was my stand. So I got rid of my old DIY wooden stand that I made out of pine. That was a little rickety, and I upgraded to a GT Omega Apex wheel stand. This thing is solid as a rock, man. It feels great. Like, it actually felt like my wheel got better force feedback because my stand was actually translating what the wheel was doing into what I was feeling, because the movement wasn't lost to, you know, the stand deflecting some of the force feedback. It was pretty noticeable, actually. And I don't have a very strong wheel, right? I have one of the old Logitech G series wheels, but it definitely improved things. And the pedals are at a bit of an angle now too, which actually I like. I find it more comfortable. The other big upgrade was my brake. I bought a mod for my Logitech wheel called the TrueBrake mod, which is a great little upgrade. Essentially, it replaces the internals of your brake pedal with a pretty stiff spring and a potentiometer that's married to the weight of the spring. So kind of like some of the older spring-based bathroom scales, where they knew the spring rate and thus could determine the weight, this kind of works like that. It gives you the amount of pressure that you're putting on the pedal through the potentiometer rather than the distance traveled like a normal potentiometer pedal would do. So essentially what all that does is it acts a bit like a load cell and kind of ends up measuring force rather than distance when you push the pedal. So this has been a good thing. Like, it's taken me a little while to get used to using force to engage my braking rather than distance, like the old pedals that I've been using forever have. But once you get used to it, it's really brilliant. And you can be a lot more consistent. You can hit your marks much easier. You can modulate the pedal a lot better. And it's been a really good improvement. I've been really happy with it. I wasn't in a position where I could drop several $100s on a new set of load cell pedals, like Fanatec or Thrustmasters or something. It was a much, much cheaper option that's working extremely well. The other mod that I kind of made was, in addition to getting locking casters for my chair, a couple of ratchet tie-down straps so that I could prevent my chair from rocking backwards whenever I'm heavy on the brakes. Alright, let's see, 5 seconds. We are not going to cash this guy, although I think we're definitely faster. So a podium was in our grasp, maybe even a race win, but those things happen, and they seem to happen to me particularly on this track. But what did we say our goal was? We said our goal was 5th, at least. Well, we said our goal was 5th and not a lot of incident points. So instead of that, we get 5th with quite a few incident points. But that's alright. There we go, checkered flag. Good fun track. A bit frustrating to get punted there, but we'll hop out, we'll look at the replay, see what happened. So here we are headed down to the braking zone. Yeah, he just lost it. Zoink. There we go, off into the barriers. Let's go grab it from his perspective. Alright, so yeah, this was when he was in my slipstream. I had the corner, he just couldn't get slowed down. Just right into the back of me. You can't really see their telemetry, but he just brakes too late and can't quite hit the apex there. So you know, it was nothing intentional. It was nothing planned. He wasn't trying to take me out or anything like that. It was just a mistake. Yeah, so he tries to brake a little later than me and just can't stop and bumps into me. So you know, those things happen, but we were able to pull it around and still finish 5th, which I feel pretty good about. So that's this week's race from Oran Park. We hit our goal, so that's a good thing. We could have maybe scored a little bit higher, but those things don't always happen for us. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, then go ahead and hit like, subscribe if you feel like it, leave a comment, tell me how I can improve my driving, because I know I got quite a bit of a ways to go. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.